Miss Finnan's 7th grade ELA open house video for parents. Homework. Why it matters. Homework allows students to practice and refine new knowledge. With the new Florida Standards Assessment for Writing in March 2015 and Reading in April 2015, it is crucial that students regularly practice the skills introduced in class. Homework. When to do it. A little bit each day, not all at once at one time. If a student tries to do an entire assignment in one day that he or she was given several days or more to do, then a student does not learn the material with optimum skill. Also, sometimes a student will just mentally shut down because they feel overwhelmed and end up not doing the homework at all. Homework. How much is given? If a student is given sufficient class time to finish an in-class assignment but does not finish, then it is that student's responsibility to complete that work for homework. Occasionally, the class will not have enough time to finish an activity in class, but there won't be time the next day to finish either. When that happens, I post those directions to Edmodo. Students without Edmodo access are given a hard copy of those directions before they leave class. In Period 1, a daily reader response question, DRRQ, is assigned every Monday and is due the next Monday. The DRRQ is a list of 23 questions that students choose 5 from each week and answer using information from their independent reading. They should be answering 1 question per day for a total of 5. The answers are to be written Cornell Note style. A copy of the questions, the required format, and the rubric used for scoring is available on edmodo.com in the independent reading folder. Hard copies are available upon request. In periods 2 through 7, a weekly reading log is assigned every Monday and is due the next Monday. It requires that a student read for 30 minutes every single day. However, students only have to record their reading on the log 5 different times during the week. It is absolutely critical that students do 1 question from the log each day. Each question covers a different day's reading. Students will not benefit at all from doing the reading log all at one time on the same day. It is okay if a student is reading more than 1 book during a week. There is a fiction and a nonfiction question asked each day. Students only do the question that applies to the genre of that day's reading. They do not answer both the fiction and the nonfiction question for the same day. What to read? All students should be reading books that fall no more than 100 points below to 100 points above their Lexile in order to improve as readers. Books too much below a student's Lexile are too easy, and books too much above their Lexile are too challenging. There is one exception. If a student is passionate about a subject, a book more than 100 points above their Lexile is permitted, since that interest makes the challenge worthwhile. If a student's book choice has no Lexile score on its spine, perhaps you got it from the public library or Amazon or Barnes & Noble or a friend, you can go to Lexile.com, type in the title of the book, and usually receive a Lexile level for it. Please make sure of the Lexile of a book before a student begins reading it, not afterwards. Sometimes, students read a book on an electronic device, such as a Kindle, Nook, etc. These sometimes self-published books will not have a Lexile and should not be read for these assignments, simply because there's no way of knowing if they're being challenged by that reading or if it's too easy or too hard. Students should read at least 3 books from the SSYRA list and take the reading counts test so that they can join the SSYRA club. This is not required, just recommended. Students can read any fiction or nonfiction book as long as it is within the suggested Lexile level I mentioned here. Daily reading versus independent reading book reports. As students read a book, they do the DRRQ in period 1 and the weekly reading logs in periods 2 through 7. When a student finishes the book, they do the independent reading book report. That's true in all classes. Independent reading book report due dates are staggered throughout the quarter, not all due at one time at the end. To get full credit, students should meet those due dates. The reading counts tests for each book should be taken after they finish reading, but with the exception of summer reading books, will not be graded until the penultimate week in each quarter. Also, if a student takes or reads 2 books because they are in period 1 in the quarter and takes and passes the 2 quizzes, then they have achieved full points for their reading counts tests. In periods 2 through 7, they are required to read the 3 books during the regular 2nd, 3rd, and 4th 9-week quarters. As long as they take those 3 quizzes or tests in reading counts, they receive their full credit for reading counts testing as well. If one test actually adds up to 35 points in advanced or 30 points or more in a regular class, then they do not need to take the quiz on the additional books that they read. What is Edmodo used for? Snapshot assessments. These quick 4-question quizzes are a type of formative assessment that allows me to see whether a student is meeting a specific ELA standard. If not, I assign the student a remediation activity that is done right through Edmodo. These snapshots are not graded, but they are required. These can be done through the full Edmodo.com website or through the Edmodo app. Students without internet access at home can take these and the regular quizzes in class and do classwork for homework instead. The occasional quiz is posted, and those are counted as a grade. All important assignments and due dates are posted to Edmodo. Most of the regularly used class documents can be found in the relevant folders or attached to the assignments themselves. For students to be able to access the documents through the Edmodo app, they must first add them to their Edmodo backpack by visiting edmodo.com on a Mac or PC. Important reminders are sent as alerts. If a student submits a DRRQ weekly reading log or independent reading book report through the turn-in option in Edmodo, they must make sure that the document was actually attached. The next slide shows what a student will see when they have successfully turned in a document through Edmodo. You will notice that below Rowena Zebra's name, it shows submitted, then it shows the comment she wrote just to test. Beneath that is the actual file she submitted. This is how she knows that she submitted the assignment. If a student does not see their document attached after they click Turned in the post, they can resubmit that assignment again, just like this next picture shows. You will notice that this case, below Rowena's name, it says latest revision, a comment from Rowena, the actual assignment she should have sent in originally. Then she simply clicks resubmit assignment, and when she sees this, she knows she has turned in the document properly. What happens if a student can't print and or view documents on Edmodo? Students can get a hard copy of documents by asking me in class prior to due dates. If a student can view the document in Edmodo, though, through the preview icon, then they are allowed to handwrite their book report or reading log on their own paper. They do not have to copy the questions or directions, but they should label the sections correctly. If a student misses class, they should check the class blog for that day's directions, Edmodo for any homework, and progress book to see if anything was turned in for a grade while they were absent. If a student misses class on the day they were aware an assignment was due, it is due the day they returned to class. No extra time is allowed for such assignments. If turned in after the day of return, then the assignment will be considered late. 25% off penalty. The Edmodo Planner Calendar. This is a great way for students to manage our class due dates. Plus, when they click on an assignment, it will take them straight to the relevant post, where they may submit their answers electronically if they so desire.